Welcome everyone to the very first episode of the Future Ed Curriculum Designs podcast. This is a humble initiative where we open up for a much needed space to talk about the real challenges teachers face every single day. It's just not about lesson plans and grades today. We are also giving true voice to teacher experiences. And Future Ed Curriculum Designs is a worldwide community of educators. And like many of you, I stand among teachers in the trenches, navigating both in the joys and the hurdles, and the agonies and the failures, and also leading the classroom with a smile. So today, in this short podcast of ours, we're going to talk about workload, time management, classroom management, maybe the lack of support and resources, our emotional and mental well-being, tech integrations, parental engagements, education policy changes, if any, that could help us, and isolation and lack of collaboration because of time crunch, and also student engagement and motivation. And it's imperative, we think, to shine a light on these issues because they impact not just us educators, but even who we teach, our students. So why this matters is you'll be hearing from us. It's teachers who just want to, we are the teachers who want to talk honestly and openly. We'll share stories, struggles, and strategies. And our hope is in the future episodes, we'll be joined by educational leaders and experts who will break down these issues further and suggest possible solutions. How is our community unique? It is a community of practice. We are not affiliated to any organization, and our group is made up of educators from all corners of the world, and we have diverse backgrounds and experiences, so we can share with each other and learn from each other. And sometimes when we can step out of our comfort zones and of our usual routines, we can engage in hands-on pedagogical projects like the teaching cycle project, the teacher framework in AI and tech integration project-based learning, how to create digital posters with cross-curricular twist, and we delve into educational theories and frameworks, and we are constantly searching for innovative teaching practices. So we believe in learning by doing, and we love collaboration. So coming to today, I'm going to keep it as a question answer session, and I am joined with my esteemed colleagues from all over, and they are going to introduce themselves after I open the first question. So the first question is kind of a reflection of how it's been into teaching. So we would be describe a day that was perfect for you in a class setting, and what is it that made that class perfect? Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Iman Barri. Located in Saudi Arabia. My background experience is about 14 years of teaching in the Gulf area. I teach chemistry, science, all variety. So I'm from a scientific background. Even though that I don't think any way of teaching is different than the other, we all struggle the same. We all face the same struggles and the same challenges all over.
Thanks, Iman.
Hi everyone. So this is Devajit this side, and a very warm evening to all. I hope you all are doing fine. And so I hold around 10 years of experience in this K-12 segment across the Cambridge and the IB curriculum, and have some amount of leadership experience also. So when we talk about challenges, at least if I talk about myself, I can see from both sides, like what I was like 4 years back and now. How is it when we look at leaders taking certain decisions, and not everyone can do each and everything to make our lives easier, right? But when we see both the realms of the world, we can certainly understand and fathom that why it is going wrong. And it's a very great initiative that we have such passionate educators who are taking time out of their personal schedules. And thanks to Ms. Tania that she has created this particular group where we can share and learn together and being connected with educators across the world. It does matter now. Thank you, Ms. Tania, and thank you, everyone.
Hello, my name is Pooja Banerjee. It's been 10 to 11 years I'm into the field of education. My forte is design and computer science. I'm from Mumbai and I am teaching the management classes also, taking the technology for education as a subject. And it's a privilege to be in this session. Thanks a lot, Ms. Tania, for this.
Could you also talk about what a day where it was a perfect setting for you, Ms. Pooja?
So, when we talk about absolute perfect in classroom or a day in the classroom, so it was during a design thinking challenge. And if I say honestly, that day I was not teaching in the classroom in a traditional sense that we actually have. It was more of facilitating. So the students were driving the process, they were collaborating, offering each other's feedback, making decisions, and even revising their own work based on their peer insight.
I am Parul. My PhD is in genetics. It has been 15 years since I have been teaching across wide curriculums. Started my journey as an assistant professor in biotechnology to an IB educator in bio and ESS. It has been a long learning, constantly evolving journey. I My best day in class was when I organized a formative on various kinds of diets for my biology DP students after biomolecules. I always have a bunch of very excited girls in my biology class, and this was one of their favorite topics. It was fun to watch them defend their diet with utmost curiosity, critical thinking, and ability to learn, cater, and gather the knowledge. At that time, it not only improved me as an educator, but I learned a lot about our everyday food. As they say that child is a father of man, it was one day where I learned from my students. It was really an awesome day. Thank you, Tanya, for the initiative and the opportunity.
Iman?
Uh, we are as teachers spend a lot of time in planning. One of the best days I experience is when my plan actually worked. I spent like a week planning an activity with differentiated level, where it started from individual work to pair work to group work. I was so afraid that the student will not get it, or they will just feel like they're confused, go back to the old ways. They start collaborating, they went with the rules, they start supporting each other, the discussion, the buzz, the healthy noise in the class was amazing that day. And it was a very, very good day for us. I felt like the students actually got it at the end, and it shows in the later assessment.
Thanks. Mr. Debojyoti, if you could come in.
Yeah, so I still remember vividly, and it's like one of my fondest memories that I have. So this was just the second year in my teaching career, so like around 10, like 8, 9 years back, and I was a class teacher of grade 7. So that batch I had taught in grade 6, so I know that they're very hyperactive set of learners, and trying to contain them within the classrooms the first day, since I have taught them for 1 year, I have known that it may not be possible, right? And so I mean, you might say that it's a very audacious move that I have taken to take them outside the class and to start the academic year outside the classroom rather than inside the classroom with all the learning worlds and all these non-negotiables and all. So of course, I wanted them to like feel settled and have that rapport, because I have known, because there are a lot of disciplinary issues that they had. And once we sat outside, we spoke about each other, there were some new joinees, things changed a lot. And it was never something that I expected that it will go like that. And one of my scariest moments at that point of time was that the head of the school was just standing beside me because I was the only one with the set of learners. So I did not know how it will go. Now I cannot take them back, then I'll be questioned. Fortunately, she observed me for 10, 12 minutes along with another senior of mine, and then she left. So no call came from the principal's office, so that okay, that I was on the brighter side of the life. So yeah, so that is one of the things that I still remember, that everything just fell in place perfectly. Even I did not anticipate my principal to be standing behind me all of a sudden, but still things fell perfectly in in the jigsaw puzzle to make the entire thing work out for me.
What really comes through in all our discussion is, the student is at the center. Once they actually get the understanding of, what we are trying to teach them, it actually is a very happy moment for us. Okay, coming to the next part of this, we talk about exploring classroom experiences. So, can you recall a recent day that felt very challenging, and what happened and what affected you and your students, and what specific situations or behaviors in your classroom, cause you more stress and frustration? So, if I would come to Pooja.
Yeah. So there have been days where despite careful planning, the lesson didn't just connect with the classroom. Maybe the energy was off, or the students were low, or maybe I was disconnected due to work pressure and all. So what I have come to understand during the classes and during these types of situation is that pushing through a very rigid plan rarely works in this moment. So instead, I take a step back and I observe, I try to reflect and ask myself, is the task too structured? Maybe are the students disengaged because of the content, or it is something else at the play? So these are some of the questions which go in my background. Now, in these types of situations, sometimes I adjust by offering choices or just simplifying the approach. Other time, I even try to postpone the lesson entirely, maybe not in this class, in the other class. And the most valuable insight which I have gained during these types of situation is being flexible isn't a fallback. It is a professional strength. So we are learning day by day more about itself, and responding to the room in real time is what keep learning your authentic and human behavior.
Thank you. Mr. Debojyoti?
Yes, so I think here I would like to say one thing in terms of when we start the academic year, we plan a lot prior to that, and we make the timetabling, everything, and then something unexpected turns up, right? So this academic year, when we are going to start, just a day prior, we had come to know that the teacher who was supposed to join for a particular subject is not going to join for any particular reason, and then parents are like breathing on our necks that okay, this year again, the academic year is starting without a teacher in place, and so on and so forth. So that kind of a environment where it's very chaotic, right? Because the students I'm talking about is not like grade 2, 3, or 4 or 5. Like okay, you can do some play-based activities, you can just get it done, something for the time being. These are
Mm.
learners in grades 11 where there is a lot of content which needs to be deliberated and a lot of things which are at stake.
Mhm.
So my strategy over there was that okay, fortunately I was maybe can't say that okay, I was fortunate enough that it was my subject biology itself. So I had to step in, but I know that with my workload and all teaching for a longer term, and then the fact that okay, again there will be a change, they will be getting accustomed to me for some time. Again, then I'll be moving out, and then we have to inform the parents that okay, this is not a regular solution, means it's not a long-term solution that okay, I'll be teaching. That is not the case. We have to inform them again. Then there will be a change, and then we don't know how many days it will take because all the academic year has already started. So most of the teachers are already placed, and it's a chaotic and a very uncertain situation, right? But what can we do? That was the best way out at that point of time. So we were open about it. We had communicated to the parental forum that this is what has happened because of some personal reasons. He had to opt out at the last moment, and then we have stepped in and we will ensure that the curricular progression is not being affected because of the lack of a teacher. So that's how this particular challenge was there, which had come all of a sudden, and then that is how I tried to deal with it. So yeah, and one of the frustration things that I see, I think other teachers will also agree to it, is the lack of respect now the teachers have in the classrooms. That is something which is very unfortunate to say, and that is something we see across all curriculum schools, be it the means national curriculum, a remotest village, uh, prime locations, prime cities, metro cities, top-notch schools. Everywhere we are seeing that fall in respect, drastic drop in the respect towards the teaching community. That is something which does worry me a lot because I think I was seeing on statistics which was saying that 68% of teachers have have agreed to, at some point of time, they have been abused by their students in some form or the other. 68% have been abused by their students in some form or the other, be it like open in a physical format or in a digital manner. And the world is a digital village now, so obviously it's much easier hiding your identity. So yeah, so that is something which frustrates me. I think as a team of educators, we need to come together to protect ourselves. Else, if we don't respect ourselves, no one else will, for sure. Yeah. So that's my take on from my school.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Parul?
One of the difficulties that I face as a bio teacher is a complex topics like chemiosmosis. Chemiosmosis is a topic which requires a lot of visual thinking, and your class is always full of many levels of students whom don't comprehend that easily. So even your blessed planned class can fall like a castle of cards. So although I had planned and curated the lesson in a very nice, coherent manner with good presentation, a visual thinking, and an activity, still I found my students very disinterested and not oriented in the lessons. Obviously, they were thankfully maintaining the dignity of the class by being disciplined, but as a teacher, I know that they were not understanding. And that is the biggest pain the teacher can face, that although you have planned it, curated it, understood everything, but still the class is not working. So that was the day I always remember, and I always take it as a learning and evolving step where you have to do something different. And particularly when you are planning such topics in a block period, you have to see that your lessons are well differentiated, they are engaging, they have planned, and they have a competitive activity which has an incentive. So next time when I took this chemio-osmosis class, I just gave them an one presentation and one video, and then asked them to do a role play on chemio-osmosis, where one did the ATP enzyme, one played an hydrogen proton, one played a differential medium. And when they did, the incentive was of obviously the best incentive to the students is their formative marks. They were quite engaged, they were competitive, and the class was full of energy and they understood well. So, always take these challenging days as evolving steps and move ahead.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you. Iman?
I totally agree. Sometimes our plans doesn't go in the way that we are planning. Our flexibility is our strength. One of the days I keep recalling is I give the same lesson for multiple classes at the same day. One of the classes have one of our high achiever students, but in that day she wasn't particularly interested in learning. She kept distracting. Sometimes our students actually tried to quiz their teacher to push their knowledge, try to ask them questions to distract the learning process from the class. It was very challenging that day to keep the class on track. At the same time, I don't disappoint her. I keep answering her. At some point, I had to stop her and I have to say, you have to come to me. I will plan a day with us together when we will sit down and explore this idea with you more, and just let's continue with what we have in hand. They are very tricky and they have their minds set sometime on something, but we have to adjust. This is my experience, and this was one of the challenges I keep facing usually.
Thank you so much, Iman. I would also like to come in, though I don't have any particular day, but what I struggle with is the dilemma of sourcing materials for my students, curating the classroom teaching practices, or documentation. So I have to always choose one with the other, and that frustrates me. So that is something that is an ongoing thing, and I understand with everything which is evolving, documentation is a huge part. But I think if we could give teachers protected time to just teach and curate materials, that would really help. Things are looking up, but still I think there are many schools who are struggling with balancing both of them. Right, thank you. So the third question that I have for everybody is, when you have these challenges, what are the strategies? Some of you already shared some of them, but is there something certain that works, or is there someone who you turn to for support, like colleagues, mentors? Would you want to talk about that? How do you handle that frustration or that challenge? So.
I usually try to use different seating plan, rearrangement of the class. Sometimes putting the students with other students they can support, or they have like a discussion, healthy discussion between them. This can help. Also get the student involved in the learning, give them like behavior contract at the beginning of each process, at beginning of each year. Sometimes it's very disappointed for them or it's silly for them, but when they keep remind them, okay, you signed that contract at the beginning. Do you remember when we started this contract in our PBL plan, for example, in the beginning of the school? Whenever we start a PBL project, which is a very big project, they have a huge bunch of their mark depending on them. We always started with a contract. Read what you are supposed to do. Read the responsibility. If you don't agree, come and discuss it before you sign. Otherwise, you're responsible of your work.
Thank
So
you.
I think these are some strategies that work.
Thanks, Iman. Mr. Debajyoti, if you could come in, who do you turn to, or how do control those frustrations?
So I think prior to turning to someone, it is always about what you can do in the classroom. So having the classroom expectations, non-negotiables clear from day one matters a lot, because no one will be able to help you in the classroom on a daily basis, or they may not be available, right? So what do you do as a teacher? Yes, if certain things does go wrong, there will be someone who will be there to help you out, right? So my leaders, some of my colleagues, trusted colleagues, they are a savior in these kind of situations, as well as I said, keeping the classroom expectations very transparent, iterations regarding the same during the parent-teacher meeting, during the parent orientations, during the coffee mornings. It goes in a long way that, okay, parents know that, okay, if my child does something of this sort, and you already have identified a few elements in the class who are the troublemakers, right? So you need to be extra careful about that, because the bad qualities transposes off in a very fast pace as compared to the good qualities. So we need to be very careful. So for me, it's the strategies first, then comes the communication towards my higher ups, my trusted colleagues, and so.
Pooja?
Yeah, so I absolutely agree with the classroom guidelines and all. It's like a checklist. As soon as we enter the class after the attendance, the checklist needs to be iterated in the class. But what I have observed over the year is I really trust something called responsive teaching. Now, for me, it's not only about delivering the perfect lesson anymore, but it also means to be present, maybe reading the room, adjusting the moment where something is not landing, or let's say the classroom is not picking up the way I have planned or something. So there was an instance during the design class where in the middle of a cross-disciplinary project class, I felt that the kids are a bit disconnected. So the room was like a bit quiet, which generally it's not during the regular classes, but it was not focused kind. So they were just busy and buzzing with each other. So it was like heavy where everyone was stuck and no one knew how to say and what to say. They were just clueless. So during that time, we need to take a pause. We need to figure out what exactly are the things being wrong in the classes. Maybe if we are feeling a bit overwhelmed, a teacher should always step out, take some few deep breaths, and then come again in the class. So I would say that these moments just remind me that teaching is also listening. We need to listen to our students as well. And at that moment, being flexible doesn't mean that we are losing any structure or we are losing any control in the classroom. It's just that we are making space for the learning to happen in the way that actually matters.
Absolutely, absolutely. Parul, could you come in?
Yeah. So I believe in no one shoe fits all. So one of the biggest strategy that I try to in the classroom is to be as unpredictable to the students as is possible, because the first thing the students start doing from day one, period one, is start mapping their teacher and try to anticipate what she's going to do next. So always remember that your no two formatives should be the same. Your no two classes, try and keep no two classes. Don't fall prey to the pattern that, okay, ma'am will come, ma'am will start with a presentation, then there would be an activity, and then there would be an assessment. Always never follow a single pattern. Make sure that you follow the buddy system when you have a diverse set of learners, where you have high achievers as well as you have some slow learners or probably which require help. Buddy them appropriately. Always make sure that in a week you have a fun class, because students should be motivated to come to your class every day. There, you cannot stop or you cannot change the curriculum. There would be heavy topics, there would be light topics. So, and every class we cannot make fun. So when you have one odd serious class, try pairing it with next fun class. So students would feel motivated to come. And always be, even I would say, even in parent teacher meeting, how you present your learners to their parents also matters. So even if they have not performed very well in your class, along with giving them strategies or learning things, also appreciate one or two things which they would have done right. And when you are feeling too overwhelmed, remember that this is the same student. And like you always keep on saying that this initiative started in staff room, the best thing starts happening in the staff room. Always be vocal about your problems in the staff room. You will definitely, whether wantingly or unwantingly, get an advice. That's my take on a
That is
difficult.
such a unique way of looking. Absolutely, we turn to our colleagues when we have trouble. Maybe we vent out also in front of our colleagues when we have trouble. So you were talking about motivation, Parul. I would also want to come in whenever we have recurring challenges and frustrations that keep mounting and piling. How does it impact your motivation and enthusiasm in class? So, what have you experienced? Is there a dip in motivation, or do you take it as a challenge, or how does it work for you? So, could I ask Pooja to come in? Yeah.
Yeah, we all know that motivation is essential, right? We all need it, but I don't think it has always need to be loud or picture perfect. So maybe motivation can come just from a real connection, maybe with a student or just with a fellow teacher. So there are days when, as a teacher, we all feel very overwhelmed or maybe very anxious, or sometimes the students create so much of chaos in the class that we need to run out to a colleague for maybe a quick chat and vent out at what exactly is going on. In spite of trying so many times, the student is not just ready to sit in one side of the classroom and let us conduct the class. So maybe that 5 seconds or 10 seconds quick chat helps a lot. Even if it is not planned, even if it is not polished, but if there is a real connection and there is some honest type of conversation, then there is a shift in the energy. So that's why where the motivation comes from, maybe from being seen, heard, and reminded that we are not alone. Everyone is together.
That's such wonderful words from you. Okay, Parul, can you come in?
Me, motivation is something which is a constant process. And the best and the most solid thing that you can turn to is self motivation. So when you are motivating yourself, first thing that you should believe is that at the end of the day, you are also human. You will be imperfect on some days, you will be very good on some days. And on the day that you are not very good, remind yourself that this is something that you have really enjoyed from the day one. This is your calling and you have done it. The first thing is that. Then obviously be very humble in asking for advice to whomsoever you think can give you advice. And when you have a fun day, be very sure to praise yourself. And when you have had a bad day, be equally generous to forgive yourself. That will help you to come to the class next day and maintain that genuine smile which every student of yours would recognize. And it's a contagious thing. It would start the energy on a positive note, and class would go well.
Yes, I think this is something which is unique for us. I'm all smiles because I can, I resonate with everything that you're saying because I also feel the same way. I've been through such experiences, and it's very humbling. Also, it, as a collective that we are, it's very humbling to understand that all of us feel the same way, and I'm not alone in this.
Yes,
Iman,
that is, I think, the biggest thing that you should know, you are not alone in this.
true,
The
true,
moment you start feeling that, oh, I am having a bad day,
right.
that time the feeling sinks in, ki, oh, I am all alone. Remember, we all are in the same boat, and this boat sometimes has holes and sometimes has a motor to drive you in.
Oh, nice. Okay, thank you so much, Parul. Iman, if you could come in here.
Yeah, I think it's challenges that can impact us greatly. We are only human, as everybody's saying. But as teacher, we are very ambitious to get everything perfect. So that can take a toll on our mental health. We can feel stressed all over the days. We are very judgmental of ourselves. We keep judging ourselves to very high standards. We keep usually that standard for us. We need to calm down. One of the most release thing for me when I see my students coming back to me at the end of the year and saying thank you, teacher, for small gestures. You taught me to be confident. You said this and that to me. I keep remembering. It's small words I don't even remember saying for them, but these, when they come back and say their small thank yous, or even sometime when you feel like a student was down and just pick it up throughout the year, and at some point they come back to you and saying thank you, you gave me confidence of myself. This can also recharge your motivation and keep you going.
Absolutely, absolutely. Those little chits of papers on Teachers' Day, we have a Teachers' Day in India. That actually, and when you get so many, notes and letters saying thank you on Teachers' Day, that gratitude actually is, I think it's more than monetary things that we get. It kind of recharges our soul, I would say. Thank you so much. So next question is very important because we talk about, supports and resources. So what are the things? What are the resources that you need that could help you conduct a better class, or that could help you in your daily work as a teacher? And if there is another colleague of yours who's going through the same frustrations and challenges, is there something that you would say to them? I know we've discussed about it, but I would also want you to kind of plug in both the questions, resources that you might need, that you think you might need, and that would help you out. So I would ask Iman to talk about it.
The resources we use usually to support our students is mostly support us as teachers, and to support our students' learning is to have a collaborative structure, collaboration between the teacher from the beginning. It's very hard usually. It can be approached from different ways. Teachers think they're doing it right, but if you're not doing it from the beginning, initially collaborating with all the subject, even in the behavioral issues. In our school, sometimes we face a high absentees due to vacations, to traveling. They agree on just not attending, and that can set us back in curriculums and teaching. So when we have a support from the administration, we have clear rules from the beginning, we have collaboration between teachers, it can help us a lot. Also, I can just advise the teachers that face any problems, just ask around, ask your teachers, ask the people that deal with the same students at the same in a daily basis. Maybe they have advice, maybe they can reach to them in different ways. Sometimes my approach is not the best, but my friend or my colleague can have had the reach, they can get to that student or to that class where we can work together more effectively. Materials wise, we need a lot of support regarding materials. Sometimes schools don't support you with everything. They think they can cut there and here because of finance issues. We have to support each other to choose the best resources. If we landed on a resource that we can share, it's communication basically between the teachers and the admin in the school.
So well put. Absolutely. We need to share our resources, you know. Ms. Parul, if you could come in.
I think I totally agree with Imam that we need to share our resources, but we are teaching diverse curriculums. Now, almost all the curriculums are here in India, and I'm pretty sure everywhere in the world. When you are taking a leap of faith and moving to a new curriculum, always make sure that you are held by a mentor. That would help you a lot. It would not only help you with advice and resources, but sometimes it will just give you a shoulder to bend on, take support, and cry on. And it is platforms like you have built as well as LinkedIn, which provide you with some fabulous mentors. Always look for mentors when you are joining not only new curriculum, sometimes when you really want to reflect on yourself, on your teaching practices, a mentor helps. And the other thing is, please be very clear that your students are very apt and they technology comes to them by birth. Be make yourself very IT enabled, the in thing enabled, and if you don't have anybody else, always remember you have YouTube to learn about resources.
That is so true. That is so true. Thank you, Parul. Pooja, if you could come in.
Yeah, so I would like to just add on with whatever Parul said. We need more things, just strategies. Maybe we need some space where teachers feel seen, supported, safe to be imperfect. We highly need a space for that. We all know we are not machines, right? We are human, and teaching is deeply emotional as well as relational work. Yes, that's true that we need practical resources like maybe adaptable lesson planning templates or maybe flexible planning time and mental health support. These are the essential things for us. But some of the most powerful resources are the people around us. Just now, Parul also mentioned about the mentor. So, mentor who guide us without judgment, and our fellow teachers who remind us that we are not alone. Even sometimes what makes all the difference isn't a tool or a training. It can be just a quiet conversation or a quick conversation with someone who gets what we are trying to speak up. Because teaching isn't about perfection. It's just about presence, perspective, and having the right kind of support, both human and structured, to keep on going.
Right. So we had a very good discussion, and I would like to thank each and every one of you, Iman, Debojyoti, Pooja, and Parul, for doing this along with me. And to the audience, if you're listening, thank you. We are deeply grateful that you're listening to us. And if it's for the first time, please do come back because we are going to have monthly podcasts, apparently. And we hope that you'll be supporting us and listening to us and also give us feedback and any kind of collaboration that you may think. And we are expecting educators to come in here. If you're passionate about education, curious about what's next, or simply want to share your story, please join our community. The description of this episode will have the link to our WhatsApp community. So connect, collaborate, and let's create a future for teaching together. So thank you for listening. Here's to sharing, supporting, and growing together. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.